Folks, we are live here at Studio D for an episode of Trainwreck tonight. Tonight in studio, myself, Degenerate Al, along with Maniac, Topher, and producer Burrs, and DJ Supreme. Tonight, lots to talk about. We got the Dolphins and Ravens in action, and also we'll be getting into the updated Trainwreck tracker. Tonight's show sponsor, Rock Bottom. Why? We are live at the Rock Bottom next Thursday for Bills Jets. Let's go. So, first thing we got to talk about tonight is the updated Trainwreck tracker. We started off a couple weeks ago. We had the Bills on one side. We had the Sabres on the other. The Bills are no longer even close to a train wreck, so they're not even in consideration. It is now the Buffalo Sabres and the Bills Mafia who have lately gotten the most scrutiny. I mean, where do you guys go from there?
It's pretty much exactly what you just said. It's completely opposite from what we said probably 6 weeks ago on this show, where we thought around this time the Bills were going to be like 1-5, 2-4. The Sabres were going to be off to a hot start with Eichel signs. It's the complete opposite. The Sabres right now, all the way down here for me.
Not to mention, last year was arguably when, Bills Mafia really made it onto the map. A lot of big tailgating appearances in the media last year. Now coming under a lot of scrutiny. Last year, the Sabres' power play was their strongest asset. Now it's actually the reason that they're off to a stumbling start.
And the Sabres wins, too. Like, they just beat Detroit in a horrific performance, 1-0. The Red Wings are not good. They played horrible against Boston. It was obviously an exciting comeback, but was not a good performance out of them as, like, a team for 60 minutes. And so the wins they do have are not even, like, quality.
A team with such, maybe not playoff hopes, but much higher hopes, and we're back. It seems like we're not all the way back to square one, but like, you just feel like we're going through this year after year where there's no progression, new coach, new top player, whatever, and it's the same thing year after year. Again, I can't stand it. And look at Frankie Chicalaza posting Jack Eichel 8 years, $80 million in the rafters. Like, Jack Eichel's been getting a lot of hate over the past few weeks.
Props to Frank, because I laughed at that. Those tweets are always funny, like, oh, scored 3 goals again in this game, like, made it to the AFC wildcard. Those banner tweets, they got a little runway before they die and are not funny anymore.
No.
In my opinion.
Speaking of train wrecks, we may have breaking news right now. Joe Flacco may have just been annihilated by
Kiko Alonso. Kiko Alonso.
Oh, head. Head.
Kiko Alonso, former Bill.
Absolutely. Legend of Kiko.
Dude, he got fucked.
Oh, he was down.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he was down. Butt was on the ground.
He doesn't even know where he is. Oh, look at his head. Oh, my God, he got destroyed. That was such a brutal hit, dude.
He 2 points up.
Dude, that's
all right. Well, hey. Well, that was just an immeasurable one on the train.
Look at Harbaugh.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the media's thinking.
That's bullshit.
Of course, the Sabres are struggling. It's a new system. You're going to have to give it at least a couple more weeks on that. The media continuously putting these stories in. I mean, this week was probably the worst one so far.
That's
a couple
horrible.
of girls going through tables. I mean, people are there to have fun. If they want to have, a raucous time and they want to go through a table, neither of those girls were like begging, like, don't put me through a table. They both knew what was coming in that video. But I mean, when I grew up and went to Bills games, I mean, there was a lot of fighting in the parking lot. Those yellow jackets in the stands would swarm to fights. I remember I would see at least like 5 to 10 of those a game. I don't see any of those anymore.
Actually, last week was the first week where I actually saw a lot of fans in cuffs. Did see more security going into the seats, but you're right. Before, you used to see like the orange and yellow flood to different pockets, and because you look to your right, and every person in that section is looking in that one direction.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You would hear a rumbling from the corner or whatever was going on.
My favorite moment at a Bills game probably was years ago when a fan was running around the 200 level on top of the suites.
On top of the suites, yeah, I recall that. I do recall. I think it was like during like a Chargers game in like early October. I think that was during the game when they let the balloons put the power out.
Really?
Think so. I do remember.
You remember that,
was he shirtless? That's
Yes.
like stereotype.
And
Yeah,
then,
long hair.
and then when they finally got to him, he tried jumping off. And then
Didn't make it. Yeah, this isn't the guy that fell off the 300 level.
No.
This guy was actually like at his footing and was running along the 200s. It was a phenomenal. It was a sight to see.
He probably ran like a mile and a half.
No, he did not run a mile and a half to over. He maybe ran like 100 yards.
That's pretty
most.
impressive for the.
It is, but it's also like 6% of a mile. So we need to clarify. When you run a mile around evading security, that's phenomenal. That's like out of like a Disney Channel or
I don't even remember. I said that without even remembering how many laps he had taken. I assumed he took like a couple laps. I was trying to measure 100 yards. Some mental math.
But point being, I mean, we used to see like fights, again, you say you're seeing them this week. I think in my section this week, I saw like an upticked, security. Like people were annoying each other and they were thrown out right away. It wasn't even a fight.
Yeah, you said
The one guy was getting reported. Yeah, the Bucks fan was cheering for a
first.
first down, and then the guy's like, "I want him thrown out." The police officer goes, "All right, if he does it again, I'll throw him out." He did it again a play later, and the police officer threw the Bucks fan and the complaining Bills fan both out. He was our section captain too. He's the guy like when you're down 10 in the third quarter, everybody up, like telling you you needed to be up. So we had no idea when to cheer for the entire rest of the game.
That's not good. So,
Terrible.
Bills Mafia this weekend. It's going to get pretty intense. Chance of rain in the forecast. Raiders are coming to town, and a lot of Derek Carr.
He gets the ball out quick. Just Khalil Mack. He's the only one I'm thinking about this weekend. He just scares the hell out of me. I should be like the Raiders have a lot of great players, but Khalil Mack.
I'm excited to see him play. I haven't seen him obviously since he played here at University of Buffalo when he was terrorizing Mac defenses, and you see him across the NFL do it week after week. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago with that one-handed stiff arm to that lineman's chest, and literally one hand took him to the ground. Pray for Jordan Mills or whatever side he's lined up on. He's gonna be he should be double teamed all day.
Now Tyrod has done a good job of avoiding the best defensive linemen. Like the last time we played Khalil Mack, correct me if I'm wrong, was Kyle Orton was under center, and he did wreak havoc. Obviously, changed the game, but obviously Tyrod's a little better at evading those guys than Kyle Orton was.
Yeah. I'm definitely a little more nervous this week as a Bills fan than I was last week. I think the secondary injuries are definitely something where they're both out. You got to take the Raiders plus 2.5.
I'm with you. I think there's a lot of leverage to take Raiders. Same way there was to take Broncos the week. They were like pretty much all the points are exactly the same. Elite defense. You're worried about a couple playmakers on the offensive side.
Yeah, but Raiders defense nowhere near the Broncos.
It's not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, really, you shouldn't like the
But
Bills should roll.
look at the difference in the offense. I feel.
I think the offense with the Raiders is better, but I mean, yeah, you got a point.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't say.
If Jameis can carry up for 360, I would be worried that Carr can carry up for 400 for sure.
That's where I was trying to get, especially with those injuries. You definitely need a healthy Gaines. And
It's a week-to-week league, though. Do you think there's a chance the Bills just got friggin' owned? We're not expecting Winston to be ready to go since he didn't throw till Friday, and all of a sudden they threw a lot.
They did. I mean, he started off right away. With
he was hot. He was hot out the
good.
gate. He had 120 yards at the end of the first quarter. So he was ready to pace 500.
Definitely. So I don't know. We're definitely a little nervous this week. Let's see what happens in the next couple days. We'll see who practices. Richie too. Hopefully he plays. I thought it was going to be one of those veteran rest days. It's looking like it could be more than that. Obviously Clay's not looking good. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I've come around on Tyrod. I used to hate him because he couldn't win you a game. It's not good for us when he throws for 300 yards. It's weird though, when he steps up in the pocket, if he gets that first step up in the pocket, if it's clean and it's not into a rushing defender, if he steps one step into the pocket, it sounds ridiculous, he actually becomes an elite quarterback. If he takes that one step, because he's free to run, which he's always deadly to do, and when he has the opportunity, whenever he runs, when was the last time Tyrod ran and he shouldn't have run? Can't even think of it, right? Like, because he never does. He either throws it or, like, just doesn't run.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, I mean, I'm becoming a big fan of his pocket presence, to be honest. I think he's really developing there. The non-turnovers, that's where Pro Football Focus had him #1 amongst all quarterbacks. Turnover-worthy balls, less than 0.5% on his throws.
And the biggest argument from anti-Tyrod guys was he could not lead a comeback in the fourth quarter. And last week, even though it only really involved one big throw down the field,
So that's still a big throw to make, for
still
sure.
a huge throw to make to a guy who they just signed off the street. So he did it just last week. Well, I think I agree with that. Completely agree with your take. Touchdown Ravens. Ryan Mallett.
Fuck the Dolphins. Bury them.
Use the mallet.
Does it really
Okay,
matter?
so
Does it
hey-
really matter who wins this game?
No.
Dolphins.
No.
It doesn't.
I think the
The
Dolphins
Bills-
will end up tailing off, and the Dolphins
we
we
play
still
them
got playing
twice.
twice.
Agree
obviously,
with listener Benny Z. Deontay Thompson, that's a deep threat for Tyrod. That's exactly what he needs right now. They took a couple shots last week. They had like him on like a wheel route against a linebacker. I was actually a real big fan of the offensive plan last week. There were a couple throws Tyrod actually missed. Could have had easily over 300 yards.
Oh, definitely. There were definitely some gimmies. So,
What about predictions? We've been talking about what we're thinking. Give me the process 21-16. It'll be a
You read my
sweeper.
mind. Read my mind. Now I gotta change my prediction. You go first.
that should change.
21-16. McCoy with 2 TDs. He has a day.
Uh,
Tyrod struggles, makes some timely throws. Bills lead virtually the whole way, but Raiders make it close to the end. They may have the ball with a chance to win at the end, but Bills hold on. 21-16.
Okay, yeah, I think this prediction is definitely weather pending. You're going to have some rain in the forecast. I like the low-scoring game, too. And I think that's advantage Bills. I like the Bills, too, if it's more of a rainy, running the ball kind of game. Low scoring as well. I'd say more like 24-13 Bills, but I think if the weather clears up, I personally do like the Raiders if it comes down to, back and forth, Gaines and Poyer are out, and the Raiders are putting up points.
I'm going 23-19 Bills. If there's rain, look for a lot of turnovers. I can picture the Bills defense keeping that train going with turnovers at timely times. Timely times.
Timely turnovers.
So, you want to talk about last week Barstool incident? Got it, right?
Hey, you gotta mention it. BVT. What a run.
What a
Legendary.
freaking run.
How much merchandise? They made a bunch of shirts for BVT that are just selling off the.
Well, now they're like limited edition because they probably won't be making any more.
Exactly.
I mean, the echelon of greatest shows of all time. I mean, you've got Sopranos, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, and Barstool Vantalk.
That's the top 5?
Top 4.
Top 4.
Mr. Robot rounds out the top 5.
Yep.
Definitely.
F Society.
But I think this almost kind of like works out better for them. Like you said during the week, like this just makes ESPN look.
Oh
awful.
no! Well, yeah, well, I said it right away when it came out, but I did. But even like Stool Presidente, Portnoy, he touched on it amazingly. I mean, they were Barstool. The reason Barstool did this was to get that contemporary fan to bring brought to their attention and things like that. This did that in tenfold. This was basically the biggest announcement they could have gotten and everything like that. They did their job. They did exactly what they were expected to do.
Yep.
Yeah, Barstool, like he wrote in his blog after, came out of this smelling like roses, and ESPN looks like they have no idea what they're doing.
No idea.
Bunch of hypocrites over at the Worldwide Leader, apparently, according to Barstool Nate.
And Sam Ponder, was she the cause of this? I mean,
Ponder and
she was the spark.
Ponder and
She was
Sarah
the spark.
Spain were the two. They were the two who we know of at this point.
My Talk was showing me a podcast from I forgot what year it was about when Presidente and Big Cat just destroyed Ponder.
Yeah, that was 4 years
And
ago.
that's what
That's what
she
she
was
was talking about.
yeah.
He said she should slut it up more. Which was like, it's a
Slut it
ridiculous
up,
thing to say.
slut it up more. Stop talking about God. Stop talking about your kid. It was pretty.
It was a ridiculous thing to say, no doubt.
Yeah.
But like they said, you can't hold like everything that they've ever done against them. Are you gonna hold Sam Ponder accountable for something that Kurt Schilling said in 2010 because they both work at ESPN?
That's a good point.
No, it makes no sense. You just don't say it. If you want to play that card, you can, but you gotta take it both ways.
Greetings,
Smokey from Hermosa Beach.
My phone died. Sorry.
Oh no.
It's all good. Hey,
Alrighty, so
We're not known for our charcoals around here.
Halloween plans this weekend? Costume ideas? What do you guys got? Obviously, you know what I'm going to be tomorrow night.
I think I'm gonna go Daenerys Stormborn. Just birth the dragons naked.
You just chopped the hair off. Though.
Referee. Oh yeah, well I got the wig. Referee. Second night is always a good costume. That's probably it.
Referee, okay.
So I'll be doing a little traveling. I'll be in Chicago Saturday night.
Okay.
So only one night for Halloween weekend. I'm keeping it real simple. I'm just going as prison. Michael Scott dressed up as Prison Mike. So I have
Prison Mike. You know what the worst part of prisons were?
the Dementors.
Of course.
So, people are saying here, are you Indiana Jones?
He really is.
I'm a
Vince
mix
Lombardi.
of-
Is Indiana Jones multiplied by the guy that Newman meets at the beginning of Jurassic Park to give him the shaving cream?
If I could grow facial hair and I had a black hat, I'd be Heisenberg right now. I do have a cigarette that I'm not smoking, by the way. Which Ethan, if I put the cigarette in, who am I?
Hunter S. Thompson from Fear and
Hunter
Loathing
S. Thompson.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
And I like the Indiana Jones reference. I
I like how you flip this up too.
well, no, it's just
Yeah,
not
brims
backwards.
up.
I just put it on. Right.
Grant from Jurassic Park.
Definitely Grant from Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
So yeah, I'm going Elliot, Mr. Robot tomorrow, heading to Cleveland. Gonna be with Mr. Andy Olson. Shout out to Andy.
Shout out to Andy.
And Saturday night going as Walter White.
Nothing stops this train.
Not all that clip. I'll be playing that this weekend for sure. So Cleveland, Chicago, and Lafayette High School or whatever.
Cleveland, Chicago, and Fally Allen.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Tuck was saying how earlier he saw a license plate that said Fally 716. That's diehard. That's already happened. So
Valley and Agro really can even be described the same. With some friends and I realized this weekend. You walk in, there's a bar area. Then there's kind of like a tight area with like bathrooms. No one can stand in any of these areas. Then in the back there's an outdoor area that's only open like half the year.
they're in trouble. Real quick, question from one of the listeners. Thoughts on a stadium environment with Matt coming to town? He seemed like he's got a lot of hate this week. He's like saying how he's like lost a lot of relationships with people in Buffalo, and it's a weird situation. I don't understand.
I think it's pretty obvious. I think because look between the lines here. That's the thing. There's some evidence that doesn't match up. Let's just say you're of the belief that he hates Buffalo. He just hates Buffalo.
I don't buy
He
it.
still wants his family members to go to school at like University of Buffalo.
Yeah.
So that doesn't add up.
No.
What he hates is that the Bills didn't draft him. He hates that the Bills didn't draft him. He hates that he was right in their backyard and the Bills didn't draft him. That's what he hates.
Oh, when we traded up, I definitely would.
Traded up over him,
100%.
of course. We weren't trading up for Mac.
I know at the time, but
That's fine.
so I don't know. You guys, people are getting trippy. Fuck Mac. No, Davey, I'm not missing the Bills game. I will be in Cleveland this weekend, but as you can see, we are all here addicted to the process, and I'm definitely not missing
And then by halftime.
a playoff-like atmosphere for Bills Raiders. It's just not happening. So, anything else, guys?
Start fading the Golden Knights.
Fade the Golden Knights.
Big
Yeah.
road trip in the Northeast. It's been a nice little story, but they got some tough games coming up with travel. They're not gonna be back in Vegas till like Thanksgiving. So
No, what, Toronto, Montreal, Boston,
Yeah.
Philly. It's the time. You want to make big money? Let's go.
L.
So, folks, thank you for joining us tonight. We are live at the Rock Bottom next Thursday for Bills Jets. We got some good specials, and we'll be getting some advertising up really shortly. Good night now.